So as I approach week 5 in this 10-week summer speed training block, I want to share with you guys how training's going, give you an update and tell you what my next marathon is. So welcome back to another video. A few things to unpack today, starting with a quick training update and then tell you guys what my next marathon is and then what that means for after the Saucony London 10K. As in, when am I going to kick into marathon gear? How long am I doing double threshold for? And all of that good stuff. So I want to sit down and give you guys an update because you've been following the training series on the weekend, which I really appreciate. And of course, I want to share with you when I'm getting back into marathon mode because that really excites me. So without further ado, let's dive into this video and start with a training update. So training itself has gone really well. The structure has been a little bit odd and I've not quite been able to stick to it quite as I would have liked to, and that's going to come down to the double threshold side of things, which we will talk about shortly, because I feel like the first time I did that a couple of years ago I didn't quite get it right, but right now I'm working really hard to make sure I'm doing it better and I'm feeling really good. In fact, I'm feeling really fit and my heart rate is reflecting that. I've had a big drop in my heart rate over the past week, which has been really pleasing. And obviously with that race win a couple of weekends ago, it just gave me a little bit of confidence. I knew it wasn't my fastest time, but the course was undulating, it was hilly, it was hot, it was humid, and yeah, it just gave me some kind of fire in my belly and made me realise that actually things are paying off. So I'm really keen to stick at it, but I will talk about the structure and when I'll be flicking the switch to marathon mode and why in the first time I did double threshold, I never went into that racing specific phase, which I will be doing this time. So we'll be talking about that shortly as well. But overall, in terms of training paces and how I'm feeling, everything's clicking, everything's running really smoothly. My speed sessions are the fastest they've ever been. My double threshold sessions this time around are slower than what they were 2 years ago because I feel I've got more control over it, which in turn means my week is feeling a lot easier and a lot more manageable than it was last time around. And I feel like slowly but surely I'm getting some big benefits from it. So what am I doing differently this time around with the double threshold training, and why will I be implementing a race specific phase? Well, something that you read about a lot, and the more I've studied double threshold training, the more I'm understanding how beneficial it can be to people if done right. And that is by introducing a competition phase, shall we say, a point where you approach your races and things start to kind of tighten up, paces start to sharpen as you gear up towards race. And so a lot of people that use double threshold training do it in their off season, through the winter maybe, when they've got summer track races, or when they come towards their training season, they'll be doing it in their off season, building up strength, building up resilience, so that then they can flick the switch into that race mode and get into competition phase when they get close to their races. That is not something that I did last time around, and in my feedback from the last time I did double threshold training, I basically said I felt really darn strong, but I felt like I'd lost that top end gear and I actually felt quite sluggish. So I got really comfortable at running in and around a specific pace, but I didn't feel like I had anything more than that. And I strongly believe that's because I missed out this competition phase, or this race period where I actually tune up for these races. So that's going to be changing this time around, and I'm not going to be doing double threshold training all the way up to my marathon, which is going to be in October. I'm going to be peeling back from that earlier on, and I'll share a little bit more about that shortly. But what that does mean is that I've also kept things more controlled this time around as well. So that's the second thing I want to mention. A lot of the paces I'm running now are slower than what they were 2 years ago, and I'm feeling that I'm benefiting from that massively. I really do feel like I completely overcooked it when I did it 2 years ago, and I feel like that contributed to maybe not the most positive mindset towards the training style. However, I'm finding it extremely positive this time around. I'm feeling extremely strong. I'm not taking myself to the well in these sessions, and I'm really holding back and feeling controlled, which I definitely feel without testing and without a lactate monitor, it's the best I can do to control these type of sessions. So with that combined with all the other training that I'm doing, I feel like it's going well at the moment. So that then left me in the position as to when to flick the switch. When do I go into that race specific mode? because I want to focus on these short, sharp distance races. And truth be told, beyond the Saucony London 10K, I've got my eye on plenty more 5 and 10Ks. Not that I'm going to be able to do all of them, but I definitely want to get another 3 or 4 races in before September the 1st, because in September I kind of allow myself to race longer distances, which might sound silly, but I'm trying to really focus on this shorter, sharper stuff, and I don't want my mind to wander this time. I really want to lock in to this speed mode. I really do have a love-hate relationship with speed work, but I do enjoy it deep down, and I love racing the shorter, sharper distances just as much really as I enjoy the marathon work as well. So I think what that came to the conclusion in my head is that I will flick the switch in the last week of August, so that I've got 8 weeks until marathon mode. But that doesn't mean I'm giving myself 8 weeks to get into marathon shape, because what I'll do is throughout the month of August is start to extend things. In fact, the last week in July would signal 12 weeks out from my marathon, I believe it is. So I will start to, around that point, extend the length of the reps, extend my long runs, and start to get myself prepared and keep doing those double threshold workouts, because those double threshold days for me are anywhere around 20 to 21 miles. So to get that work done kind of really sets me up with a good base. But then, in that first week of in that last week of August, when I'm 8 weeks out, I'm really going to lock into marathon mode and then ditch the double threshold work and get race specific. If I was to get race specific after the Saucony London 10K for these 5 and 10K races that I've got planned at the end of July and into August, then it's not going to really work in with the marathon plans later on. So I feel like it's going to be a good compromise for me. I'm still going to solely focus on those shorter, sharper runs, shorter, sharper races throughout the months of July and August, but I will extend the training slightly. And I feel like in myself anyway, that's where I start to get the best bang for my buck. I find this speed work phase to be tough but really enjoyable, and as I start to increase the endurance work, maybe shorten the recoveries, extend the length of the reps, that's when I start to really find my fitness comes to the forefront. So I hope that all makes sense, and if you do have any questions, please do feel free to drop them in the comments below. Obviously, after the Saucony London 10K, I will be continuing with the training series. It will just be kind of ad hoc until I really lock into marathon mode, which I will be doing the Abingdon Marathon. Now, I have alluded to that a few times, but I hadn't booked it. I've now booked it, got my name in there, and that's going to be the goal. And I'm 99% certain that that's going to be the marathon I do. I was scoping out, and I won't lie, it would have bored me to death, but I was genuinely scoping out the Battersea Park Marathon in November. I felt like it was possibly going to give me more time in the summer. I believe it's 5 or 6 loops of Battersea Park, the full loop of the park. And speaking to a few people that have done it before, actually speaking to 2 people that have done it before, that have both run sub 3-hour marathons in there, they did say that the park gets quite crowded after loop 2 or 3, and you really are dodging and weaving. Well, that's the same that I found when I ran the 10K there last year. On the 3rd and 4th loop, it became really tricky, and I just thought to myself, do I want that mental battle when I'm trying to run a marathon? Probably not. However, will the weather be in my favour? Yes. And will it give me more time to do summer speed? Yes. So it was a really tough decision to make. I don't intend on going abroad for any races for the rest of the year. I will save that for next year, hopefully. But that was the decision I had to make. And I just thought, do you know what? I want to go back to Abingdon. I've wanted to go back for ages. It's where I broke 3 hours for the first time. And I feel like I'm going to get myself into good shape. I can get myself a good half marathon or 2 maybe done in September. Really get those long runs in and give me a chance to go sub 240. Which would be great. That's the goal, and I want to really give myself a proper target this time when it comes to marathon training. So to clarify that and put it all in a nutshell for you, summer speed work until July the 14th, until the Saucony London 10K. From there until the last week in August, to give me 8 weeks until Abingdon, I'm going to be doing exactly the same, carry on with the double threshold work, but just extend the reps slightly, start to focus on that endurance, start to build that endurance. And with these 20 to 21 mile days stacking up every Tuesday across the summer, I'm really hoping that it's going to set me up to be in really good shape leading into Abingdon. I'm very aware that 8 weeks is a small time to get specific. My ideal length training block is 12 weeks, but the reality is I'm more interested in the speed work at the moment, and I feel like if I do the Tuesdays right and I can stay injury free and I can really enjoy them, I'm going to be in a position where I do some good things hopefully hopefully in those final 8 weeks. And my long runs, of course, during that July to the August period will start to extend. So I feel like my fitness, my endurance is going to be in a good place anyway. So then it's about getting into that race phase, that competition phase, and get myself tuned up for the marathon. So there we go. Just thought I'd drop in with a quick update for you guys. I like to keep you updated on what I'm training for. As I said, plenty more races coming after the London 10K throughout the end of July and into August. I've got my eye on a few, and as soon as I know what another 2 or 3 or 4 of them will be, I'll drop a video confirming what those races will be. I am hoping to do the Magor 10K probably. It's a good local one. It's a change of course, but I'm excited to go and do that. And then in August, I am looking at the Podium 5K. There are a couple of others I'm looking at in Cardiff. There are a couple of others I'm looking at, but I'm not going to say what they are at the moment because I need to work out logistics and if I can get down there or up there depending on where it is in the country. So other than that, that's where I'll leave it for today. The next video you guys will see on the channel will be the Hereford Couriers 5K, which I have on Wednesday evening. So if there's a delay on the Thursday video, it's just because I want to do that as my race video, and it'll probably be out in the afternoon to give me the morning to edit it and get it done. So there we go. That's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please do consider giving it a like, share it with your friends, and of course subscribe to the channel for weekly running content, and I'll see you on the next one.